What's up, guys? Welcome to the Naughty Shark podcast with me, Shark, and this is session number 2. And I'm going to explain you, or I'm going to tell you what my experiences are, or what I did, like when after my breakup with my ex-girlfriend until now, which is like a bit more than 2 months now. So when I realized I was single again, I thought like that could be like the best time to start doing approaches, like doing pickup, like really dig into it. And I thought like before I can actually do day game means like approaching women at the day, like on your everyday life, when people are working or studying or stuff, just like at every time except like at the night time or when weekend night clubbing is. So I at first thought I have some kind of an idea how I should do it. Like I knew that at that time when I was beginning, I knew that when I'm going to approach somebody, I will have like no idea what I'm going to talk about. So I was looking at the internet for courses where I can start with it, and I knew there on YouTube there's a lot of them, but I also engaged with a online course platform called Udemy, and I was curious because I had some courses about podcasting and about psychology and all that stuff before, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to check it out if there's something about women, about approaching, about meeting new women or stuff. And I found that one course from the guys called Matt Artisan, and there's like a step-to-step guide how to meet women at day. So I was learning this stuff, and it's like I felt very comfortable learning it. So I have an idea what I'm going to say, or how I'm going to approach, or how I'm interact with women, and that was really good. But because I was alone at that time, I had my friend there, but he wasn't into day game at all. So I was starting it by myself. And it's like the first week I was walking around my city. I was like every day, like for the first 7 to 8, 9 days, I was walking every day after work for like 2 or 3 hours and trying to approach any girl. I was walking. I saw some hot women. I saw girls here and there, and was like, now you have to do it. Now you're going to approach her now and stuff. But I was too afraid. I was like, I don't know. I just, at the moment when I start trying it, I felt freezed and I felt that anxiety, and I was like, man, how I'm going to overcome this fear. And after that week, I took one of my best friends, who I'm talking about this pickup stuff, but he's way too afraid for that than I was. And I did my first like approach then when we were hanging out, because he had holidays or vacation, and we were like, after that, every night for the next 5 or 7 days, we were out and trying to approach. And I did some approaches. I thought I'd just make one, and it was like I was so nervous that I just ejected just way too early, even though the interaction was okay. And after that, I got even more frustrated because I don't get the progress that I wanted. So I'm trying to contact people where I thought they were doing some pickup stuff, and I found that one guy who I know from the same like from the same community. It's like we were both vegan, and so I knew him, like not in person, but I knew from other friends that he's like doing that pickup stuff, and so I started writing or texting him, and yeah, we after like a day or two, we're hanging out together, and we walk around the city and trying to approach, and then he got more balls than I had because he got a bit more experience about day game than I had, and it's like he's doing his approaches like 1 or 2, and was like the first few days I was just watching and I was just like seeing it and explaining him how I would do it, but I was still too afraid. And then after a few days I got really to the first approaches. He was like pushing me a bit. I was like, if you don't think, and it's just women walking by, and he's saying like, just do it now, and you're really like got that push that makes you actually doing the approach. And I did my first approach, like really what I learned, I'm saying it, and it was okay, but then you got your first rejections, which is like the number one rejection is I have a boyfriend. So that was it. And you realize that it isn't as bad as you thought it would be. So we kept on doing that for times, like for 1 or 2 or 2 weeks in a row. And it gets slowly better. It's like first you're doing like 1 approach a day or at evening, then you're doing like 2, and then you realize what could go right or what could go wrong. And like my disadvantage is that I really look younger than I actually am. Like most people would say I'm between 20 and 23, 24, even though I'm 26, getting almost 27. And it's like, when it's not the boyfriend thing then it's because I'm too young, and maybe they went or going away before you even could say like no or thank you or even have a good answer. So yeah, I get better at approaching, and it feels easier the more you're doing it, and you are also starting to experiment what could go right or what could go wrong, like having answers for different situations, like for my age or what I'm doing and all that stuff, to get a bit creative with your answers. And that I think is more important. So I was starting more day gaming, and on the weekends I was starting clubbing, but I had still more struggles with clubbing than day game, because the main difference are the vibe, the emotions, the energy. Because when you do day game, you don't have to be like very energetic. You can go easily like I don't know, like after work, and if you're like in a mellow mood, you don't have to be like very energetic and very motivated. You can go easy. And there's the difference when you're clubbing. The other thing is, not only you have to be like more energetic, but also there's a lot going on, because you can get a girl, which I didn't had before, but you can get a girl, meet at the daytime, and having an instant date, which means having a date right after you approach with her and talk a few minutes, then having a drink and doing this or going there, and then bring her home to your place and let the magic happen. But those steps are more intense when you're clubbing, because it's more aware. And I don't know, it's like, because you could do it, the pressure was bigger for me, because I knew I can do it, but I was too nervous to actually make the step. And so I struggle, or I'm still struggling with club gaming, which I'm also improve. And That's my standpoint there. So the other thing is, when you're starting to approach women and you're getting even more confident, you know that not every approach is going to work. It's like some they are in stress or they have a boyfriend or all that stuff. And some may work and some do work. And when you have the first phone numbers, you also have to interact with how to text, how to write, how to create or spark emotion in texting. And sometimes it don't have to be sparking. And that's like some of a art or a skill you have to learn with really quick or really fast to know which women are more like need more of text game, more of interaction, more of creating or sharing ideas and stuff to get you on a date, and which girls are more easy with just having like, let's meet there at this time, done, and they're like, okay. So that's a skill you have to learn. I still struggle with it because sometimes you feel like you need more of interaction with that girl to get her on a date, and sometimes it's easier and sometimes it's not. And that's something you have to figure out if you get more phone numbers. And if you get more phone numbers and you're texting better or good, you get more dates. And I had like 1 week, that was like 2 weeks ago, which I really overdo. It's like I had from a Sunday to, I don't know, like the following Saturday or the next Sunday, I had like dates every night. And you start also to try how you get the girl from your first date to the kiss and to bring her home. And that also depends on the location where you are. So what I knew from my previous experiences or dates I had is always go to a spot or to a bar where you can sit next to each other. So you have the opportunity to touch her slightly and even more and more and more during the date itself. And if you made it to the kiss, I don't have to be on the first location. It's also good to change locations to other places, to a bit more romantic places or whatever, and then go for the kiss, that you're still try to doing it. Like, don't just talk the whole time. Get to touch a girl and change the location was something I knew. And sometimes it could work that she's coming to you, but mostly I needed a second date. So my main thing or what I do is I having the first date with a girl. I go to a location, which I know I can get physical. And then maybe I change. It depends on the interaction and the whole other thing. But first I go to one club or to one bar, having a drink there, switch location or having a walk or a stroll. And then somewhere in that date before it ends, it could be in the middle or more in the end, going for the kiss. And then you have like a more close connection to each other. So the next date, you should definitely go to invite her to your place for cooking, for example. And I learn all that stuff about pickup and all what I learned so far, or where I take my knowledge is. I have a book called, what's the name? I have to check it. So the books where I read so far is How to Become an Alpha Male, and the other one is The Superior Man. I would recommend to read those two books, and I will say, and I also read Models Attract Women Through Honesty from Mark Manson, and also Rollo Tomasi, The